I just went to the Twin Pagoda. You can actually see a bit of spire of one of them sticking out just right there. Can't go up in them, but that's worth a detour. And I guess this would be the west gate of Suzhou University. I wanted to walk through campus on my way back to Pingjiang Street, where I'm going to take in some museums. Twin pagodas. So I took the metro to Shangmang. It's probably the same distance to go from there or Linden. I want to get up here. I already walked Jiangsu yesterday. And if I have time, I want to get up to the double garden, couples garden. I don't think there's much to see here in the university, but it's en route, so we'll take a look. Can't hurt. These are housing blocks or what? I'll just keep heading east and north, and I should wind my way. Suzhou University. I don't know anything about it, what it's known for or what. I do know that south of here, off Shiji Street, there's some cheap restaurants that are mentioned, Lonely Planet, and places to eat. Kind of down towards Sichuan Street where the bars are. I had a friend who just graduated from Shanghai University for Science and Technology. She told me what it was like in their dorms there, and I was kind of appalled. I mean, you know, when I was a student my first semester at Hofstra, one of the reasons I got into the University Without Walls program was I saw how shitty it was being in a dorm, mostly because you're with other students who are spoiled brats, and they take shits in the shower for fun and throw up in every sink, you know, clog every sink, you know, with vomit, and think it's funny that the, you know, 70-year-old African-American janitor has to clean it all up. Reach in with his hands and pull chunks of vomit out of the drain. But here in China, she was saying, your bed is basically like a wooden board that you sleep on. And they turn the power off completely at, what'd you say, like 11:30 or something? And then it's off till some certain hour in the morning. I mean, they cut all the power out, no lights, nothing. There's no electricity whatsoever. And then what else did she say? She said that basically you have to pay for showers, I think, like a coin for 10 minutes or something. And the food was pretty cheap. She took me to the canteen, and it was decent and cheap food because it was subsidized cost. So you could eat pretty well. But, you know, compared to what you get at a school in the United States, you're sure paying for it through the nose in the United States, but it's pretty plush. I think my biggest complaint about universities in general is that if you get into a good school and you're a smart student, I don't see how the professor has a right to treat you like shit, but they do. and a lot of them aren't even that qualified. And you know, I feel bad for the whole game they play with professors. You know, all these schools are sitting on huge endowments, and they can't even pay a professor, you know, living wage. And they fuck around with lecturers and TAs, and it's almost impossible now to get tenured and become anything more than an associate professor if you work a whole career somewhere and like don't have children and completely devote yourself to university. You're lucky to become an associate professor, you know. And even then, you're still going to have to get like a PhD or dual PhDs or some ridiculous thing. And but me as a student, you know, I would never consider teaching. My parents were teachers and professors. I tried doing an AmeriCorps program where I was in a school for a little while, and I thought, oh God, I don't want anything to do with public or private education. Even if I was at like a swank, maybe if I was at a swank New York City private school where I'm teaching diplomats' kids and rich businessmen's kids who are paying 50 grand a year to be there, and I have all the resources at my disposal, and I don't have to worry about standardized tests because my students are going to buy their way into whatever they want anyway. And I could actually teach them shit that matters and not be handcuffed by No Child Left Behind and all that kind of horse shit. But the thing I hated about school was not all the professors. I mean, I had some really nice professors who treated me like a human being and even preferred me to have a first name basis with them, and you know, it was like more of a you know, it's a college, it comes from the word collegium and more the trade guilds of, you know, ancient Rome and all that, but still, like, there's supposed to be some semblance of, like, you know, I'm paying money to come here, a lot of money, and in a sense, I'm your client, so if I come to you with a legitimate problem, you can't blow me off, give me an attitude, tell me to fuck off. That's what they do at most universities. If you have any kind of an issue, like, hey, you know, blah blah blah, it's like, oh well, you can go fuck yourself with that then. Or the professor wants to like treat you like you're their babysitter or something, and it's like, I'm your client. You know, I understand there's a curriculum and all that, but I don't know. So I don't know where the university kind of starts and ends here. It's a little Byzantine, but I noticed that at even that the only campus I've really walked through, I guess, would be the Shanghai one there, and they don't have the same sense of a campus that we do in the West either. Kind of like is a same idea with the dorms that I was talking about. Like, you know, they spent a little bit of money on having like some pathways and trees and some sculpture or something, but it's not like an American university where they go overboard and try to turn it into like Oxford University, you know, the fake medieval shit and ivy covered walls and spending a fortune on landscaping. Very utilitarian, very third world. You know, it's interesting though, I think they have the same problem in China with the United States. If you have all these people graduating from college, there just aren't that many high-level qualified jobs for that many graduates, and then it turns the college degree essentially into a worthless, it's not worthless, you have to have it to get a job, but it becomes like no one will ever ask you where you went to high school. They will ask you, do you have a high school diploma? They don't care if it's a equivalency diploma. They don't care if it's a what's this, a museum? They don't care if it's a regent's diploma like we have in New York for the higher level diploma. They just say, do you have a high school diploma? You do? Okay, then you can become a cop or whatever. But that's a good example, cops. Now to become a cop in New York City, it used to be 2 years. I think now you have to have 4 years of college. You know, pretty soon it'll be a master's degree. So I have a friend who wanted to become a doctor, and then he changed his mind and said, I think I'll be a cop. And he still had a hard time. You know, it's like very competitive. And that's the trouble. So now it's going to be to the point where no one cares where you went to school. Do you have a degree? Okay. Now tell me about your work experience. Well, I'm just out of school. Oh, no. Entry level, you have to have 3 to 5 years experience. Well, how's that entry level? Well, it's entry level for this city that maybe you could go work in Appalachia. Hello. Museum? Bogwon? No? I guess maybe this is a restaurant. Huh. Yeah, it's a fancy restaurant. I should have known. Look at the cars parked out front. It's lunchtime. Cadillacs actually are symbols of status in China. Big American clunkers. So there's Shangmen Station. Men is gate and Shang is alley. Shang. So I think it's alley gate station. Anyway, I don't think we saw much of the actual university though. Sorry about that.